subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello guys, welcome to another video session from Kanish Biology. In this session from the lesson Heredity, the concept that I have selected for you today is haploid versus diploid. So let us enter into the topic and find out what does it mean by haploid and diploid. Before that, we need to first understand the meaning of the term ploidy. So what is ploidy? Ploidy refers to the number of sets of chromosomes in the nucleus of a biological cell. So I repeat once again, the ploidy refers to the number of sets of chromosomes in the nucleus of a biological cell. I hope that you knew that during the time of cell division, DNA present in the nucleus will be condensed to form rod-like structures called chromosomes. I have also taken a session to explain how the DNA will be condensed to form chromosomes. If you have not watched that, I am leaving it in the iCards. Please go and watch it. So now, what is the relation between this ploidy and chromosomes? As the definition suggests, that ploidy refers to the number of sets of chromosomes in the nucleus of a biological cell. So before going into the details, let me explain this with a small example. What do you see over here are a pile of books, right? And how many textbooks are here? You can count the number of textbooks. This is the first one, second one, third book, fourth, 5, 6 and 7 books are there. So this is the pile of 7 books. And can you tell me what are the subjects? First one is English, physics textbook is there, mathematics textbook, chemistry textbook, history textbook, literature textbook and geography textbooks. In other words, I can say that the information that these books consist of are different from one book to other. Because in English textbook, you can find the content related to English. In physics textbook, you can find the content related to physics and so on. So like that, the information present in this book is different from each other. Therefore, I can consider all these textbooks as a single set of textbooks. Because each book carries a different type of information, I can call these 7 books together as a set of books. Okay, and see here, there is one more set of books. And is there any difference in the subject? See, this is English, again physics textbook, again mathematics textbook, again chemistry, history, literature and geography. And altogether I can say that these 7 books are making up another set of textbooks. Now can you tell me how many sets of textbooks are here now? There are 2 sets of textbooks. So this is one complete set of textbooks. This is another complete set of textbooks. That means there are 2 sets of textbooks here. Then how many pairs of textbooks are there? I told you that the information present in the English is different from the content present in the physics. But look at these 2 sets here. There is an English textbook here and other second set also consists of English textbook. So I can say that the information present in this English textbook is same to that of the information because both of them consist of information about English language. Therefore, I can call these 2 textbooks as a pair of English textbooks because they are similar to each other, and a pair of physics textbooks, and a pair of mathematics textbooks, a pair of chemistry, pair of history, pair of literature textbooks and pair of geography textbooks. I hope that you got the meaning of a pair. Now can you tell me how many different books are there together in both sets? In this set, 7 textbooks. In this set, 7 textbooks. And together how many textbooks? 7 plus 7, it makes 14 textbooks are here. Now can you tell me how many pairs of textbooks are here? This is the first pair. This is the second pair. Mathematics is the third pair. Chemistry is the fourth pair. History, fifth pair. Literature, sixth pair, and geography, seventh pair. So total there are 7 pairs of textbooks present in the form of 2 sets, and each set consists of 7 individual textbooks. Right now it becomes easy for you to understand the logic behind ploidy of a cell. So let me go to the next slide. First let us see what is haploid condition. When a cell possesses a single set of chromosomes, then it is called haploid cell. Okay, and don't forget this, haplo means 1, that means single. So if a cell possesses a single set of chromosomes, then that type of cells are called haploid cells. Then what does it mean by single set of chromosomes? Let me tell you that. look at this. This is a gamete cell here. This is a male gamete. And how many chromosomes can you see in this male gamete? This is one chromosome, first one, and this is the second chromosome. This is the third chromosome. So total you can find 3 chromosomes in this gamete. And can you tell me whether these chromosomes are same or different from each other? Just you remember the previous example that I have taken about the textbooks, right? See, for example, this chromosome consists of a gene capital A, and this chromosome consists of another gene which is capital T. This chromosome consists of another gene called capital R. Don't think that the chromosomes contains only one genes. They generally contains so many genes. For the sake of understanding, I'm just considering only one gene. So basing on this context, can I say that these 3 chromosomes are same or different from each other? Yes, they are different from each other because the genes that they carry are different. So tell me how many sets of chromosomes are there in this cell now? These 3 together forming a set. So we can say that there is a single set of chromosomes present in this gamete. Then I can call this gamete is in haploid condition. So I can call this gamete as a haploid cell because it consists of a single set of chromosomes. That's about the haploid condition. And don't forget that haploid cells are always represented with letter small n. So if you write n at any cell, that represents that the cell is in haploid condition. So one more thing is haploid condition can be seen in gametes. Rest of the body cells contain diploid cell. We will be discussing shortly. So let me show you one more gamete. This is one more gamete, female gamete. And can you count the number of chromosomes in this gamete? Again, there are how many number of chromosomes? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 chromosomes present again here. And these 3 chromosomes also, they carry different kind of genetic information from each other. So I can consider again these 3 together as a single set of chromosomes. So in other words, I can say that this gamete, female gamete, also consists of a single set of chromosomes. Hence, this gamete also can be considered as a haploid cell or haploid gamete. Okay. And I already told you that they can be represented with the letter N. So let's now discuss about what is diploid condition. Okay, when a cell possesses 2 sets of chromosomes, in this way it is different from the previous case. In previous case, when a cell possesses single set of chromosomes, then that is called haploid cell. But when a cell possesses 2 sets of chromosomes, then that type of cells are called diploid cells. So here di means 2, whereas haplo means 1. So don't forget and don't confuse between these two words. Di means 2. That's why these cells, as they contain 2 sets of chromosomes, they are considered as diploid cells. And diploid cells can be represented with 2n. And remember, for the formation of diploid cells, there must be presence of 2 sets of chromosomes. Now let us see again, go back to this one. This is male gamete where there is 1 set of chromosomes. This is female gamete in which also there is single set of chromosomes. So these two are haploid in nature. Then how the diploid cells are formed? Okay, you knew that during the time of fertilization, male gametes and female gametes, they fuse together and they form a zygote. And you know, when the zygote is formed, one set from the male gamete, other set from the female gamete, they combine together in the zygote. Say, this is how it happens. See, one set of chromosomes, they will be coming from the male gamete and other set of chromosomes will be coming from the female gamete. Now, can you tell me total how many sets of chromosomes are there? Capital A, capital T and capital R. These are one set which the zygote has acquired from the male gamete, and there is another set, similar set of chromosomes are there. So here 2 different sets of chromosomes are there. One set that it has acquired from the male gamete, other set it has acquired from the female gamete. So now this condition is called diploid condition. This can be represented with 2n as n, which is male gamete, n, which is female gamete, which gives rise to 2n condition, which is the diploid condition that is present in the zygote. Okay, and what are the examples? Except gametes, all other cells in our body are diploid in nature. Okay, only gametes are in haploid condition, whereas rest of the cells, other body cells called somatic cells in our body, are present in diploid condition. So in the previous slide I have shown you that 2 haploid cells are combined together to form a diploid cell. Then how haploid cells are formed from a diploid cell? So this is the question. Okay, Write the answer in the comment box if you knew that. Now let's move on to the next slide, and I am going to make it very simple for you in this slide about this haploid and diploid condition. Okay, see, what is this condition called? There are how many number of chromosomes are here? Can you tell me how many number of chromosomes are there? 1, 2, 3. 3 chromosomes are there. Okay. And how many sets of chromosomes are there? Can you tell me how many sets of chromosomes are here? There is a single set because they carry different kind of genetic information. So I can call these 3 chromosomes as a single set of chromosomes, like we have considered 7 different subjects as a single set of textbooks, right? Therefore, in this case also 3 different chromosomes make up a set of chromosomes. Now observe carefully. There is one more set of chromosomes, right? Now can you tell me again how many chromosomes are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 6 chromosomes are here. That means the number of chromosomes has been doubled. Okay, and see, next question, how many sets of chromosomes are here? So I told you that these 3 chromosomes which are different from each other, they are forming a set, and a similar type of another 3 chromosomes are there which are forming another set of chromosomes, right? So now tell me how many sets of chromosomes are here? Here 2 sets of chromosomes are there. As 2 sets of chromosomes are there, we can call this condition as diploid condition. Okay, and now how many pairs of chromosomes are here? A pair can be formed by 2 similar chromosomes which are homologous in nature, right? So these 2 chromosomes are similar to each other. So these 2 chromosomes, they can form a pair, homologous pair, and another 2 similar type of chromosomes are there which are homologous, and this is the second pair of chromosomes, and another pair of homologous chromosomes are there that forms the third pair of chromosomes. Now answer the last question, how many pairs of chromosomes are there? 1, 2, 3. That means 3 pairs of chromosomes are present in this cell. So this condition is called diploid condition, and don't think that all cells contains only 3 pairs of chromosomes. This is only one example that I have taken. Different species have different sets of chromosomes, okay, and different number of chromosomes. For example, in human beings there are 46 chromosomes present in human beings in 23 pairs. In 23 pairs. So this you have to remember about the condition of chromosomes in human being. Okay, now what do we call this condition when 3 sets of chromosomes are here? Is it not? Here there are 3 sets. This is one set, second set, 3 sets of chromosomes are there. Now can you tell me what is the condition of a cell in which there are 3 sets of chromosomes present? Think and write the answer in the comment box. And one more question is, name the cell that contains 3 sets of chromosomes in plants. Okay, in plants there is a cell that is formed during the process of sexual reproduction that consists of 3 sets of chromosomes. What is that cell? So think about it and write the answer in the comment box. Let's come to the summary. Haploid and diploid. Haploid means, I told you, cells having single set of chromosomes are called haploid cells, and diploid means cells that have 2 sets of chromosomes are called diploid cells. And the haploid condition can be represented with the letter N, whereas the diploid condition can be represented with the letter 2N. And only gametes in our body are haploid in nature, whereas all the other cells in our body except gametes are diploid in nature. So that's all for today. I hope that you understand this topic. Thank you very much.